welcome to a new vlog. Welcome if you're new here. Hi, I'm Andrea. Welcome back if you're one of my lovely returning friends. It's great to have you all here. It's Saturday morning. It's early Saturday morning. I'm going to make this intro really quick because we're going hiking, and we're going hiking while it is still, hopefully, let me update the weather, still only 67. It's going to be about 71 by 9, so it should be like upper 60s, very low 70s for this hike. I have been doing Zoom conferences all week, which is why I haven't been vlogging, and I haven't been hiking either because I've had a very limited amount of time in the mornings and it's been getting kind of warm in the afternoons. So I've just been like, let's just go for a walk because then I have more time to walk because I don't have to drive anywhere to do that. I just walk out my door. But I really want to go hiking. I'm looking at the 10-day forecast. The 90s are like, it's been this past week, there've been a couple days in the 90s and a bunch of days in the 80s, and it's been a real mix. The 10-day forecast coming up is like all 90s. So it's going to be like 86 and 84 this weekend, and then it's going to go down to like 74 on Monday, which is just amazing. Because it's April. It's mid-April. So 74 in mid-April is like, I don't know what's been going on this spring, but it's been amazing. And so I definitely want to go hiking today. So I've slathered myself in sunscreen. I've got my sun hat. I've got my sunglasses. These are my prescription ones. I'll give you a quick contact lens update. I did end up going back and having a follow-up with the daily pairs. I mentioned at the end of the vlog that I was going to try the set of monthly lenses that they gave me. The prescription was really off. They're very uncomfortable. They're much thicker, I think, because they're supposed to last a whole month. And they just did not feel good in my eyes. I really couldn't wear them for more than like 6 or 7 hours before they started to get really uncomfortable. Whereas the daily pairs, I can wear them comfortably for 8 hours. I can wear them for up to 12 hours, but like if I wear them that long, like I'm definitely ready to take them off, but they're way more comfortable. So I'd much rather do dailies, if I'm able to. So I went in yesterday. She did think that there were a few little tweaks we could make, that they might be even better. So we've ordered a diagnostic set of those, but we're also pretty confident that those will be the ones. So we've ordered a 3-month supply of those ones as well. I'll wear the diagnostic ones first. I can exchange the 3-month supply as long as those haven't been opened. So if the diagnostic pair works or set works, then I've got my 3-month supply. If they don't work, I can go back in and we can order a 3-month supply of the last ones or whatever and just exchange them, and that'll be fine. So another like few more days. I think they're gonna get in, like we were hoping maybe Wednesday. So less than a week of not wearing contacts. So that's your update on that. So I'm going to be back wearing glasses today, which is fine. It's a Saturday. I probably wouldn't normally wear contacts on a Saturday. I think the only reason I would have put in contacts today is because of going hiking, and being able to wear a different pair of sunglasses. But these sunglasses are fine, and I'm going to be wearing my hat. So I think my eyes are going to be perfectly covered and shaded and protected. So yeah. Fine wearing glasses today. For, again, the 1% of you who cared about the contact lens update. Anyway, I have been rambling for long enough. On today's agenda, we are going to go for a hike. Then I need to take a shower for sure, and wash my hair and all that good stuff. I want to then have breakfast, brunch, whatever applies by that time of the morning. And then we are long overdue for refreshing and redecorating my apartment for spring. So today we're going to get the spring decorations out from my storage closet and transform the apartment for spring. It's not a huge transformation. It's not as big as Christmas, but it is a bit of a transformation. So it's going to turn very pink and spring-like. I've already put a few bits out. We'll talk about that later. But definitely want to decorate for spring. And then I will give you the editing update because I have been doing some editing over this week of Zoom conferences. And I have been making some progress. So yeah, lots of decorating and lots of editing, but also lots of cozy Saturday relaxing, and starting the whole vlog off with a beautiful sunny, it is sunny and clear. I don't see a single dang cloud in the sky. So yeah, let's start this vlog off with a nice, relaxing, magical Saturday morning hike, and then I'll get on with the rest of a very lovely, cozy Saturday at home. Okay, I have reached the halfway point, which was farther than the halfway point I thought I was going to have. But it's actually really nice out. It's warm. It's definitely warm, but there's a little bit of a breeze. And with my hat, that's helping keep me cool a little bit. I've got plenty of water, and that was the thing. I wasn't halfway through my water supply when I got to the point where I was thinking I would turn around, so I thought, I'm just gonna keep going. And this might be the last day that I make it all the way out this far. So I've gone up this one trail that we didn't do. It's the different direction than what we did in the last vlog, but it's really pretty because you're kind of up in, it's more of like hills instead of the mountains. The trails are really wide, and you've just got all these rolling hills around you with the mountains in the distance. It's really, really nice. So yeah, and now there's a breeze. I'm going into the breeze, so that's like cooling me down even more. So I might go a little bit slow on the way down. But it just feels so good to be out here. There are some people, so the trails are a little bit busy, which at this time of year I prefer. So that's been good. That's another reason I stuck to this trail, because it looked like it was the busier, more populated trail, but it still hasn't been like packed. Also noticing, like you can probably see, it's very like not green behind me. All this beige behind me was green back like a month or so ago, even just a couple weeks ago, but it's all starting to turn more of like a beigey brown. And there is some grass in here that comes up white from the beginning, but there was a lot more green mixed in. I think this last week of warmer temperatures is just causing everything to go into the next stage, so it's all kind of dying off. A lot of the wildflowers are starting to die off. The brittle bush is still going strong. That's all of these bushes, and so you can see there's like lots of yellow scattered around. So those are still blooming. And the creosote bushes, like that one has little yellow flowers on it. And there's some right here as well. Those are still blooming. Those are kind of the last ones to die off. It has to get a lot hotter before those ones die off. They're kind of some of the latter ones to bloom and the latter ones to die off in the summer heat. But a lot of the early spring green and flowers are coming to the end of their cycle. So yeah, sad. And there's more people coming, so I'm going to stop talking and get back to hiking, and I will show you the hike back to the car. Was a very lovely hike, but let's just address what I know you're all going to be asking about. Yes, that was a rattlesnake. That was a rattlesnake. So that was exciting. I have not seen with my own eyes a rattlesnake in any of the hikes I've done here in Phoenix. I've run into them a few times years ago when I used to hike down in Tucson when I was in grad school down there. But like, we really don't see, we hear about them and we see pictures of them, and I know they're out here. I know they're out here, but I have not seen a rattlesnake in all the years, especially these last few years that I've been hiking regularly. Now, part of that is because I'm not usually still hiking in April. So I'd been having just a really chill, relaxed hike. First half of the hike was pretty quiet. Second half of the hike, a lot more people and a lot more activity on the trail, including rattlesnakes. Well, just one rattlesnake. I was going pretty slow and I could see people coming up ahead, and I think I had stopped. That's what had happened. There were people coming from up ahead of me from the opposite direction, and a guy had just blasted past me running, and I recognized his shirt. He and his partner had passed me at the start of the hike, so I turned around to look because where's his partner? Like, did he ditch her? And saw she was coming up running just a little bit behind me. So I'm like, there's people coming from in front of me, there's this jogger runner coming from behind me. I'm in a spot that's wide enough that I'm not right on the edge of a trail. It felt like a safe place to stop. I turned back to see how close she was getting, turned back to look ahead of me, the people coming from the opposite direction, and all of a sudden my eye just went straight down to the ground, and like in the middle of the trail there's just this rattlesnake just crossing the trail. And so the people ahead of me were still a good ways ahead, but the woman coming up behind me was coming up really fast and really close, and I wasn't sure she saw it, so I kind of yelled at her, "Stop, rattlesnake," kind of pointing. She stopped. She didn't hear me the first time, so I called again. Then she heard me. So she didn't run past me. She stopped. She heard me just as she was coming up next to me. So she stopped. We were stopped and watching it. Both of us had our cameras out because it's not that common that you see one. They do generally try to avoid humans. I called out to the people further ahead coming from the opposite direction. And again, they were engaged in their own conversation, so they weren't really hearing. They were at this point getting what I would deem too close. So I yelled louder and more forcefully, "Stop, rattlesnake." That got them to stop in their tracks. So I was probably about 10 feet from the snake in the one direction, but they were about another 8 to 10 feet opposite the snake in the other direction. So there's about 15, 20 feet between the jogger and I and the other two people coming up. And then there were more people coming up behind them. So they kind of turned and yelled to those people, "Stop, rattlesnake." It's always interesting because of the hikers, there's always a mix. Like the jogger and I were like, "Cool, rattlesnake, but we're gonna keep our distance, but like it's fine." The two women opposite us were a little bit more hesitant, but they were like still like, "This is kind of cool." But then as word like trickled down, you could hear people like calling down the row of hikers like, "Stop, rattlesnake, there's a rattlesnake on the trail, like, hold your pace a little bit." And as I started passing those people, once traffic started moving again, a rattlesnake is basically just a red light on the trail. Like, just stop, do not go, do not pass until the rattlesnake goes. And it was really funny because as soon as the rattlesnake was off the trail, like the tip of his tail had just crossed the far edge of the trail, the jogger was like, "Okay, see ya." And she started running again to catch up to her partner. She was not phased. They must run out here a lot and probably see them a lot. But then some of the people that I was passing, once traffic started moving again, they were like, "Where is it? Is it like well off the trail or is it right off the," like they did not want to go a step further until they knew the exact location. And I'm like, "No, it's off the trail. Just, just keep an eye out. Just keep moving. You're fine." Well, that first group that had started moving again, what I didn't realize at first was they weren't just continuing to move. They were all like huddled around the side of the trail watching it. And so I was like maybe 15, 20 feet down the trail, and there were some kids with them, and I hear this little girl just shout, "He rattled!" Like, yeah, that's what it's gonna do if it feels like you're getting too close or you're just being too obnoxious. Like, it must have like stopped to like assess all these people and are they gonna come after it. So it probably just got a few feet off the trail and then realized, whoa, there's like danger might be here, and it probably stopped and like just gave them a little warning rattle. Like if you ever hike in the desert, I've talked about this a few vlogs ago, if you ever hike out here, the rattlesnakes do not want to mess with you, but if you F around with them, you will find out. And that's kind of the whole meaning of their rattle. The first rattle is a warning. It's like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm minding my own business. You mind your own business." Second rattle is F around and find out, buddy, because you're not going to mess with me. If the snake is extended and just slithering across the trail, just stop. Let it move off the trail. If you're really worried, keep an eye on it, but let it move well off the trail. And that's kind of what I did. Like I gave it a few more seconds than that jogger did before I started moving, and I couldn't see it anymore. So I don't know where it had gotten to that the other group not only could still see it, but heard it rattle. But generally they don't want to mess with you. If you startle them or if you threaten them in some way, they will defend themselves. And so it's the startling part that is why I'm thinking this might be my last hike. Because there are some parts of the trail where it is a little bit harder, and when it's really busy, people aren't thinking, they kind of force you to the side of the trail, and there's some stretches where I just don't feel safe standing off the side of the trail. It was at a point in the trail where I just wasn't expecting to see one because it was more populated. I would have been less surprised to see it kind of around the 1 mile mark because it was far less busy. There were less people around. I might start walking around the neighborhood. This might be the last hike. And I would be happy with that. If this is the last hike, I'm happy with that. It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful hike. I think we can switch to walking around the neighborhood and going on the Palo Verde Blossom Watch. I'm starting to see some pop up, but the Palo Verdes aren't in full bloom yet in my neighborhood. So yeah, might just let the rest of late spring unfold in the neighborhood walks instead of out here at the park. But this was worth it. I'm really glad I woke up early. I'm glad I got out here. It was a lot of fun. I now know that I can still win a game of stick or snake. But yeah, I'm gonna get home now and get on with a very cozy and relaxing Saturday for the rest of the day. Okay, it is now quite a bit later. It's almost 3:30 in the afternoon. I have been getting stuff done. I haven't done any editing yet though. That's what I'm sitting down to do. I got home from the hike and got myself cleaned up, made breakfast, brunch, and then just kind of crashed. Then I got up, put up all the decorations, and then kind of crashed again. But I've got the peony garlands up above the office window, and the wisteria garland is over the fireplace, which I really love. I've got some cute little wood cutouts and things and some little fake potted succulents. So I've got those here at the desk. And yeah, it feels nice. I've done a little bit of straightening as well and just tidying. All of this I would normally do in March. Normally I would do it during spring break. We rearranged the office in spring break. That was the extent of what I could manage. But I don't mind waiting until April or even, you know, May. I wanted to do it in April. I don't mind waiting until April because the spring summer decor, everything I've just set out, that stays up until August, until the fall decor goes up. I don't have a completely separate spring and summer like decor theme, vibe, aesthetic. It's all just kind of pink floral, and that just goes up in spring and stays up until all the autumnal colors come out. And I normally do that sometime in August, even though fall doesn't technically start until September. I've always said that when the fall semester starts, it's fall. So I'm glad to have everything out. I've redone the couch, so I've redone what blankets are on there, what pillows are on there. I've swapped out all the cushion covers. So I use the same cushions, but I have different cushion covers that I rotate throughout the seasons. So yes, we've done that. Very excited. It feels very nice in here. The couch is making me really happy. I like how cozy it is now. So yeah, I've been just crashed on the couch after I stopped decorating, but now I need to edit. So, editing update. The last time I vlogged, I edited for 45 minutes and had a really good editing session and managed to actually make some changes. So throughout the week, on Monday, I didn't do any editing. Monday was a very long day of conferences. I ended up doing my walk in the afternoon and after conferences, and it just didn't really leave any time in the afternoon to do some editing. So I learned from that, and on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I went for a walk in the morning and then did editing in the afternoon. And so on Tuesday, I managed 45 minutes. I don't think I did, and I think that was another like thinking day and note-taking day and rearranging of some things. So I had a good 45-minute session on Tuesday. I only did 15 minutes on Wednesday, which was another long day of conferences. Thursday I managed 30 minutes, and then yesterday it was just a long week. Friday I was so tired, so I only managed 15 minutes. So yeah, so today I want to try to do, it's now 3:39. I kind of had wanted to be done with editing by 4, but I know I want to do more than 15 minutes. So I think I'm prepared to work until like 4:30, and then I can go sit on the couch and relax for like an hour before I need to think about dinner. So, and I have all day tomorrow to relax as well. But I know I need to do some vlog editing tomorrow, and I want to do more book editing tomorrow. So yeah, anyway, I have been doing a lot of thinking and a lot of work on this project, just not as much editing, but I was kind of waiting until the weekend when I could hopefully have a little bit more space for my brain to think. So today I am going to scroll down to some of the actual like notes. I'm still working on things in chapter 10, chapter 17, and chapter 22. So I think I'm going to start with one of those. Chapter 22 is a pretty easy note, but I want to make the changes in chapter 10 and chapter 17 first. So I think I'm going to start with maybe chapter 10. Just move through it in order. Chapter 10, then chapter 17, then 22. And then maybe be done with draft 2 finally. Well, then there's one more super easy note that I need to do. It's going to be time consuming, but I'm saving that for last because I'm still thinking about some things with that. But in terms of like editing dialogue and stuff, it's just those 3 chapters that are left. So I'm not going to finish it today, but I might be able to finish it tomorrow depending on how today goes. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get editing, and we'll see if I can at least get through the edits for chapter 10. If I could at least get my chapter 10 notes crossed off, I would feel really good about that. So fingers crossed, we shall see. Okay. I've been working for about an hour, so it's a little bit later than I'd wanted to work. It's now 4:45, but I got the note for chapter 10 and the note for chapter 17 done. Editing is going very well. I am so close to being done with draft 2. I really am. I feel like draft 2 has just taken me forever, but I'm finally nearly done. Chapter 22 is just going to be a few lines that I need to edit and a couple lines I need to add in. That's going to be really quick, but I'd rather do it tomorrow when I can think a little bit more clearly. And then I just need to go through and kind of finish up deciding what I want to change this one place name in the book to, and then I need to go through the whole manuscript and change it. Unfortunately, what it's currently called is a word that I use both for the place name, but also I use it for other things. I need to stop doing that. If there's something that I could need to change, I need to like make sure it's a word that I'm not using in any other context, because it just makes changing it so hard. Like I can do a find, but I just can't do a find and replace in the document. And I've already done it twice for 2 other things, 2 other names, another place name and a character's name. So you'd think I would learn, but no. And this happened to me in the Candle Shop of Wicks and Whimsy as well, but oh well, it'll be fine. So I think those are really all that I have left to do, and then I can call draft 2 done and send it to my beta readers. So I'm hoping I can send it to beta readers tomorrow, Monday at the latest, which means I could then take this coming week to read it myself, and then hopefully by like the 19th, I will be done reading it by like the 19th or 20th. So I could then have the rest of April to start making any final notes that I think of. And then hopefully somewhere between like the 19th and like the 23rd, 24th, I'll get some feedback from my beta readers. They do tend to be really fast. Yeah, hopefully I start getting some feedback from them. I'm not giving up on my dream of possibly being done with the developmental edits by the end of the semester, like by the time my grades are being posted around May 6th. If I could be done with developmental edits by May 6th and have it be ready for copy editing at that point, I would be so happy. So yeah, it's all good. It's coming along. I'm feeling really good about it. I've had a really good time working on it. Like, I wouldn't have edited for an hour if I wasn't feeling this. It's wild to think, like, on the one hand, I'm so ready to be done with it. I really am. On the other hand, I never want a book to end. Like, I would still be editing A Brave Start if I didn't like know to like stop myself and just let something be done. Because like, cause last year I went back and reread all of my books in my 2 series, right? I haven't reread More Than Fate. I haven't read More Than Fate since we published it, but I've reread all my other books because I was wanting to just remind myself of what have I already said in the Across the Pond series that I might need to know for this book and for book 5. And when I was working on book 3 of Independent Hearts, I was like, what did I write? Like, it's getting to a point where, what hair color did I say, you know, people had in book 1? Because that needs to be consistent in book 3 and in book 4. And so I went back and reread those on my Kindle and annotated them and highlighted things related to characters and locations and stuff. And like, rereading my books, I like my books. I like the story. I'm proud of what I've done with them. But like, the writer in me would still totally make changes. There are things in all of my books that I would do slightly differently now, and like, I can't do that. Once you publish something, you gotta let it go. But like, if I was writing the book now, I would do it differently. You know, A Brave Start, I worked on it over the course of several years, and so it did, like, chunks of it did get rewritten, throughout the several years that I was writing it. Every time I'd go back and start working on it again, I'd reread what I'd already written, and I would make some changes and a lot of, little things here and there. Nothing major, but there were things that changed throughout that process. And now it's been 5 years since I was editing it and getting it ready for publication, and there are totally things I would do differently now if I was writing it now. I'm really noticing that with Project Darkness, right? So like I started working on that and wrote the first draft of it in 2010, and now in 2024 there's a lot I'm going to be doing differently with the next version of the first draft, because my whole idea for the project and for the whole series has completely changed. And so when you come back to things years later, you see things that you could do differently. So like I could just edit this forever, but I need to move on to the next thing. And I think that's where I'm really glad that I have started publishing and that I'm self-publishing. I think if I had tried to traditionally publish A Brave Start, I probably would still be working on it. Like, unless it had gotten picked up for publication, and then the publisher kind of forces you to like go through the timeline and like actually publish it. But like, if it had just not gotten accepted, I would probably still be working. I wouldn't give up on it. I think that's one reason why I like self-publishing, because I feel like one of the things of being a traditionally published author is at a certain point, if it's not getting picked up by an agent or a publisher, you have to learn when to put that project to the side and start working on a different project and try to get that one published. I don't think I know how to do that. I think I would just keep working on the same project, which is why with Project Darkness, if I don't get an agent after a certain time frame, or if I get an agent but it just never gets picked up for publication, like I will then self-publish Project Darkness, because I won't be able to move on to something else until that one is done and like out there. So yeah, it's always the struggle for me. Other authors, you can let me know if you self-publish, traditionally published, if you're not published yet but you're thinking of it. Like, it's really hard to know when to stop, and the temptation to just continue editing is really strong. Or I feel like the other problem would be I would just write one first draft after another and I would never edit. I would just move on to the next thing, because there's also a point where you're like tired of the project and ready to just be done with it and get distracted by shiny new object, syndrome. And it's like, I want to work on the next story in the series or the next series idea that I have, and I don't want to keep working on this. So I've got that push-pull going on where I don't want to keep working on this because I'm ready to just move on to something else, but I'm also not ready to be done with it, and I'm freaking myself out about, like, I might be almost done with the development edits, and then that means I need to move on to, honestly, my least favorite part, which is I don't enjoy copy editing as much, and I don't enjoy formatting is easy and fast, but I don't enjoy proofreading, and I enjoy the cover design, but there's also a lot of pressure that I put on myself with that, because I'm not a cover designer and I'm not an illustrator. I can do those things, but they are not my strengths. So I get in my head a lot with those, whereas I feel really good with the writing. So the temptation to just stick with editing and just edit forever, or abandon a book and just move on to writing the next thing, like those are the two things I really struggle with the most. But yeah, it is now 5:01. I want to go lay down on the couch and relax for a little bit before I have to have dinner. But yeah, I'm just gonna go relax now, and we'll just see where the rest of this evening takes me. Alrighty, it is the end of the night and the end of this vlog, so we need to wrap it up. I have had a very cozy evening, enjoying all the spring, summer decor that I've put up today, so that's been really nice. I had some turkey soup, not chicken soup, but turkey soup that Mom gave me, some leftovers that she had made. So I had some of that with sourdough toast. So that was really good. Now it's nearly 10 o'clock and I've been going to bed around 10 o'clock. So I'm feeling like it is time to just get up and get ready for bed and go to sleep. I might do a little bit of reading. I'm still reading XOXO. It's really good so far. I'm just being very slow with reading it, but I am really enjoying that. So yeah, I might do a little bit of reading before I go to bed. We'll see. I'm probably not. Like, I want to, but I'm probably gonna get my teeth brushed and get my makeup off and just be ready to crash. It was such a good hike this morning. Like, it really, really was. But I did over 2 miles and that was pretty long after just doing like mile and a half walks around my neighborhood all week. So I'm feeling it. Like, muscle wise I'm fine, like my pain levels are good, but fatigue wise I'm just like, oh, I'm tired. I'm just a bit worn out. It's probably, I am feeling good, like confident in my decision that I think this was the last hike of the season this morning, and I think from here on out it's just gonna be walks around the neighborhood. I just, as much as I want to keep hiking, and I really do, I just feel like between the rattlesnakes and just feeling really, really tired, I think I am ready to just like shift to more gentle walks around the neighborhood. So yeah, I think that was the last hike, which is sad, but again, as I've been saying, you know, in regards to the weather, like, I can't complain because I've hiked for much longer than I did last year. The weather has stayed cooler for much longer than last year, so like, it's been a really, really lovely spring. If this was the last hike of the season, I'm glad I was vlogging today. I hope you enjoyed it. In all the years of vlogging, I've not yet managed to capture a rattlesnake on camera, so this is the first time in 8 years of vlogging that I have managed to do that. I've seen them before, but I've not got that on film for YouTube before. So yay, there's something exciting for all of you. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it didn't scare anyone. It was pretty cool. I won't lie. I thought it was pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this vlog up here before I ramble on for another 15 minutes like I've been doing earlier in this vlog. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That goes a long way and I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I would really appreciate that as well. Say hi in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Our question of the day, the same as it's been so far this month. Let me know what your creative project update is. What are you working on? How are things going? How are your projects coming along? I still can't believe I'm so close. The next time I vlog, I will probably be reading draft 2, and it will probably will have been sent out to beta readers. That will be exciting, so I will update you on how all of that goes, but I'm very excited. So let me know how your creative project is going and how you're doing, and you can leave me just any emoji related to spring, because it's spring, almost summer here in Arizona. I have decorated the apartment for spring, so yeah, share some spring related emojis in the comments to let me know which one of you lovely people have made it all the way to the end of this vlog, and I'm gonna go to bed now. So I will see you all very soon in the next vlog. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye!